Actually, my first time on a private jet was with Floyd. We were in Miami, and it came off of a night from a lot of partying. We was turned up. The most fun you can probably ever have. Like, if you ever watched a movie where whatever happens with someone famous or popping or rich, that's the kind of fun we have with Floyd every single night. So in Miami, they have some of the best strip clubs and the best regular clubs ever, right? So we went to one of the best dope regular clubs in Miami, and then we went to a strip club, which was the after party. So after the after party, I'm like, yo, man, this is crazy, bro. Floyd, you throwing us all this money. This is wild, bro. I see why they call you Money Mayweather. Like, whoa, this is crazy. So after we left the strip club, we go back to the hotel. I'm at the Mondrian Hotel. It's a really, really dope hotel if you've ever been there. So I'm sitting upstairs. I'm like, yo, I'm talking to my boy. I'm like, yo, I just went out with Floyd. It was one of the craziest times I ever had in my life. It was some strippers. They was so fine. I was just looking at them like, oh my God, like, do you like me or do you just like me because like I'm with Floyd? And I don't know, but it was some of the baddest chicks you've just ever seen in the strip club. But before the strip club, we had some of the baddest chicks ever that was just partying with us. It was just fun. It's a lot of fun, right? So I'm explaining this to my homeboy in the hotel room. He's like, where you staying at? I'm like, I'm at the Mondrian. And when I walk to my balcony, it's a beach. You can see the whole ocean. He's like, what? He's like, who you with? I'm like, I'm with Floyd. He's like, what? You with Floyd? This remind you 9 or 10 years ago where, you know, before like Instagram was popping, I think. So I'm explaining to him and I'm like, yo, hold on. Floyd's assistant is calling me right now. Hold up. Let me get back. I answer the phone. So I'm like, hello? She's like, hello? Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just chilling. I'm just looking at the ocean. It's like, oh, it's so dope, huh? I'm like, yeah, the ocean view is actually really dope. And she's like, okay, well, pack one pair of clothes because you're about to go somewhere. I'm like, what? Where am I about to go? She said, well, you're about to go on a private jet with Floyd and you guys are going to go and you got a DJ. I'm like, I got a DJ. I'm like, I'm what DJ? And she's like, bring your DJ stuff and bring one pair of clothes. I'm like, all right, for sure. So I'm like, I call my boy back. I'm like, yo, Floyd, assistant just called me and she want me to get on a private jet with him because I'm about to go DJ. Mind you, this is probably one of the craziest days I've probably ever had. Like, I went from popping nightclub to popping strip club to dope hotel room view to a call about a private jet, right? So I'm like just taking it all in there, like, yo, where you at? We waiting for you downstairs because the private jet about to leave in a little bit. All right, for sure. I'm coming down right now. So we headed to this private jet. I'm like, yo, what's up, champ? What's going on? He's like, yo, you ready to turn up with me? Of course I'm ready to turn up with you. He's like, all right, for sure. You know, I got something for you. Listen, now everybody know whenever Floyd say, you know, I got something for you, it just make you laugh. It just make you smile really hard. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, ooh, what do you go? Wow, okay. So we headed to the private jet, which is me, Floyd, somebody else, and the security. I'm like, why is this 4 of us getting on the private jet? This is dope, I guess. Hey, that's why, I don't know. Yeah. We get on the private jet. I think we flew to Detroit. I'm not sure. We flew somewhere. A dude walked on the plane with a backpack. He pulled out a lot of jewelry and I made one of those, damn. Like, you ever seen the Kevin Hart interview where he was like, damn? That was my exact response. Damn. I see all this jewelry and watches just poured out. I'm like, this is how you jewelry shop? Like, yeah, this is how I jewelry shop. I'm like, wow. I'm looking at the jewelry too. I'm looking like, oh, this is dope. He said, yo, hey, try this on real quick. And it was a Rolex. And I tried the Rolex on and I was like, wow, this is dope. Yeah, it fit. I started taking it off. He said, no, hold it, bro. Keep it on your wrist. I'm like, all right, for sure. So I'm holding the Rolex on my wrist. I'm looking like, damn, I got a Rollie on my wrist. And this is reminding me of the song when Meek Mill said, it was something about that Rolex when it first hit my wrist. It was something about that Rolex when it first hit my wrist that had me like, yo. So I'm, as the dude packing all his jewelry up in the backpack, I'm taking the Rolex off. It was a dope Rolex, diamonds and all that, right? So I'm taking the Rolex off and I go to hand him. Floyd go like, no, that's yours. I go, what? I'm like the Rolex is mine? Wow. So I'm thinking in the back of my head like, yo, champ just gave me a Rolex. Can't believe this. The door to the jet go back up. I'm like, he really left and the Rolex is still here on my wrist. Wow. As we flying in the air, he like, you know, I still got something for you. I'm like, I thought this is what you have for me, let alone the jet ride. This is my first time on a jet. So my first time on a jet was my first time ever getting a Rolex, or you could say my first time getting a Rolex was my first time on a jet. It don't matter how you say it, but it was just a crazy feeling, like, you know what I'm saying? So we land in LA and it was a DJ's son's birthday party. It was lit. Soulja Boy, Tiger. Then he comes up to me and he gives me a handshake, but the handshake has something in that hand that he shook it with me with. So he shook my hand and he go, you know, don't nobody play better than Mayweather. I was like, I know, champ. Hold on. As I'm taking the handshake, it's like a it kind of something in between that handshake stopped our hands from connecting, right? So as we and I'm grabbing the handshake, he go, that's for you. And I grab it and I go, wow. I didn't even look at it. Just put my hand in my pocket and I'm holding my hand in my pocket, right? As I'm holding my hand in my pocket, I'm like, this is a lot of money. How much money is this? I'm like, why he give me like $200 in ones? Because I know we just left the strip club, so I'm thinking it's like $200 in ones. So I'm like, he gave me like $200 in ones, and I DJ this party right now. I got Rolex. Oh my God. So, you know, people still looking at me as I'm holding my hand in my pocket. I'm trying to play it off like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But in my head, I'm going crazy. So I'm counting the money. I'm like, it's like $200 in either ones or fives. So I either got $1,000 in fives or $200 in ones. I don't know, but it's crazy. So everybody go, I gotta go to the bathroom. I put my hand in my pocket. It's all hundreds. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. And that's my crazy story about the day that I got a Rolex. Was the day that was when my first private jet, was the day where Floyd felt like he threw me a whole bunch of money and I caught it. And then he looked at me in the eyes and he said, don't nobody pay better than Mayweather. And I believed him, because till this day, no one has ever paid better than Mayweather.